I'm not in my car today. And I have food. I'm in my favorite place in my city. This one park. And I have my favorite food, Chipotle, with my favorite drink, lemonade. Actually, no. My favorite drink is coffee, but I can't get coffee at Chipotle, and I didn't want to go somewhere else. Alright, enough with the silly talk. I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. School just ended, and winter break has started. We had a nice showcase. I played the piano there. And it was nice seeing everybody so talented and working hard. But anyway, I think I've finally come to accept the fact that the last 3 months have been extraordinarily hard for me. 4 months of just constant heartbreak, constant feelings of dread. Not really constant. I don't want to make it sound worse than it was, but it was really hard. I went through a breakup. I thought I could find love again in somebody else, and then they left in a horrible way. And it's kind of a loop of just utter pain in that second part. And then I lost like 1 or 2 best friends, depending on what you define as lost, because technically I still talk to one of them. It just isn't the same. I lost basically everybody that was close to me. I lost my parents' trust. I lost my mom's trust. Just bad things like that. And I was left alone, and well, like I said in yesterday's video, that really helped me in the long term. So even though I'm grateful for all of that, I'm kind of acknowledging that that was hard. Finally now, I'm grounded again. And it feels like I'm just separated from everything that's happened. There's no school. I really have no obligations right now that I don't want to put upon myself. And in this moment, I truly feel a feeling of freedom. And I'm happy. This is one of those moments where I just feel a calm, peaceful sort of bliss. And I wanted to share this with the world so that hopefully I could project that through the screen. So even though I've been through these tough things, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. As cliche as that sounds. And I knew this while going through all those things. Because at the end of the day, I had been through something similar. But the previous time I had really crumbled. And I didn't think there was a light at the end of the tunnel. But this time, I knew that things were gonna get better. And they did. I'd say if you're in a hard place, anybody that's in a hard place. That I know how it feels, or at least something similar to that. I always had this narrative that nobody was ever going to understand how I felt. And to an extent, that's true. Nobody's ever going to understand you completely. Only you are going to understand yourself. But there's also a power in that. There's also a power in knowing that you know yourself best out of everybody in this entire world. And if you know within yourself that things are going to get better, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, then that's all you really need to keep going. So there's a power. There's a power in your pain, really. No. Life is just a series of challenges if you think about it. And if it wasn't, what would life be? It would be boring, to be honest. If everything was easy, where would the interesting parts be? Life wouldn't be interesting if everything were easy. And you need to have sadness in order to appreciate the happiness. And everything is balanced out. So even though the really, really hard times are really, really hard, they're all a part of life and they're all a part of the human experience. And at the end, when you're in a good mindset again, you'll be happy that you got to experience that. Because at the end of the day, it will help you in some way. And now I'm actually going to say an unpopular idea. But I don't think everything in your life happens for a reason. And I know that's a common narrative. But that's simply not true. Some things happen in your life just so that they can happen. And accepting that, and in accepting that, you choose what you can do with your future. Because if you went through a bad breakup, and you tell yourself, well, I'm going to learn something from this, then you're going to constantly be searching for what you want to learn from that experience. And if you're constantly searching for that final piece of the puzzle, you're never going to have closure. So I think sometimes we just have to say, hey, that happened, and I'm going to move on from that. And I'm going to be okay. Do I think it's important to try to find meaning to things, to try to find a reason that things have happened to you, a positive reason that things have happened to you? Yes. But do I also think that we can't keep focusing on that and that we also need to move on? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if you've learned something from a situation, you're just going to apply it to your life. You don't have to focus on this thing that you've learned and just ponder on it and ponder on it. Like, oh, I learned this from this I learned this from this relationship and this from this relationship, and now I must become this person because I went through those things, because I went through this hardship, because I went through abuse as a child. I'm going to be this way as a grown-up. Because I went through this as a teen, I need to be like this in my job. And you're kind of limiting yourself. If you learned something from a situation, you will just know, and you will just apply it to your life. It doesn't need to be calculated. So although I think to an extent, like, the whole everything happens to you for a reason is true, I just think that you don't really need to ponder it. It's a nice way to look at things positively, I'll admit that. But if you really have a positive outcome from a situation, then you will know it. You will know it. And that really tough time that you're having right now, maybe you're watching this at 3 a.m., you have insomnia, maybe you hate that you have acne, or maybe you have just like really horrible body image, maybe you feel depressed, maybe you feel anxious every day. Or maybe you're just struggling with your career and you don't really know what you want to do with your life. At the end of the day, life is going to give you moments where you truly feel at peace and at bliss with yourself. And it's these moments where you really feel like you have a third person perspective and you've stepped back. And when you have this bird's eye view of your life, which I feel like I'm having right now, I'm having one of these moments of just pure bliss. So when you have this bird's eye view, you're going to remind yourself of what life is truly about. And I guess that's all I really have for today's talk. I hope everybody gains some perspective and that this has helped you to step back from your life, to step back from all the worries, from finals, from tests, from problems at work, from relationship problems, from body image issues, anxiety, everything. That it has allowed you to step back and realize what you truly prioritize in your life. And I hope you enjoyed this ramble.